Can I hold all of these up? Okay, ready? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Darian and today we're going to be talking about the 12 books that I need to read in 2024. So I know everyone is posting their 24 books to read in 2024 and I simply cannot. There's no way. I know if I made a list of 24 books I would fail miserably, so I halved it. We're going to talk about 12 books that I want to read in 2024 to make it more manageable for myself. Also, these are all books from my owned TBR, so none of these books come out in 2024. They are all 2023 releases or earlier. Most of them are actually earlier. They're books that I've been meaning to get to for a long time, which is why they're on this list, to hopefully force myself to finally read these books. So without further ado, let's just get into the list. So the first book I have, I honestly can't believe I haven't read yet, and I feel like I'm gonna say that about most of the books on this list, but this one just feels like a book that I'm gonna love, and it's short. It's been on my TBR before and I just haven't gotten to it yet, but that is This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El Motar and Max Gladstone. And I know this is sci-fi. I know that it is about these two time agents who kind of write each other letters like throughout time. They're on the opposite sides of this war, and then through their letters they start to fall in love. That's all I know, but I've heard the writing is very beautiful and I love beautiful writing, and it's short, and I know like it's very big brained, so I don't think it's something that I can just get through very quickly, but still. There's no reason that I haven't read this yet. So 2024 is going to be the year, mark my words. This next book I'm actually hoping to read in January because it is the book club pick for my friend Sid's Patreon book club, but that is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. I have yet to read a book by Erin Morgenstern, which is a crime because so many people compare her writing to Laini Taylor's, and as we all know, Laini Taylor is my favorite author, so I need to read something from Erin Morgenstern. And this one, I've heard a lot of mixed things, and what worries me the most is that my brother did not like this book, and we have very different reading tastes, but the books that we do read, we often give the same rating or have similar feelings about, so I am nervous that he didn't like this, but still, I just have high hopes for this. Also, my wonderful friend Salma got me the UK cover. Look at this. It's so beautiful. Like, honestly, the US edition is, it's ugly, let's be honest, but this is beautiful. So all I know is that it's about this guy named Zachary Rollins, and I know everyone comments about how they say his name like a million times in the book, and I think he finds this book one day, and as he starts to read it, it's telling the story of his life, and then does he go into the book? Something about that. And I know there's a sword, a bee, and a key that are relevant to this plot. So anyways, I really just have been wanting to read this for so long, so next year is the year I'm gonna read this book. Next we have The Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. I read The Way of Kings in 2021, which is about to be 3 years ago, so I can't believe I haven't continued this series yet. I would much rather have like the big floppy paperback, but my brother's girlfriend lent me her copy, which is this mass market paperback, so I'm not complaining. And it does make it a little less daunting because it's like, oh, look how small this is. Jump scare. But I know this is everyone's favorite book in the series, and it's my brother's favorite book of all time, so I'm just excited to get back into this world. I really enjoyed The Way of Kings. I gave it 4 stars, and I just can't wait to continue the story. It's just very daunting because it is very long. How many pages is this edition? I mean, this edition is going to be longer than the standard edition, but this is like almost 1,300 pages. So that's fun. But yeah, I'm excited to be back in this world and back with my boy Kaladin, my sad boy. Love him so much. And back with Zeth. I hope Zeth makes lots of appearances in this book because he's my favorite character, and then Kaladin, I think. But anyways, I'll ask my brother to refresh my memory a little bit about the first book, but then this is the year I continue the series because also the 5th book was just announced and is coming out at the end of this year. So can I read the rest of the books this year? That's a tall order. That's why we're only sticking with this one, but yes, I need to get to it this year. Okay, this next book, I can't believe I haven't read it same as all these books. But the reason for this next book is that this is my best friend Lisa's favorite series, and like she's read my favorite book, so it's only fair that I read her favorite book, and that is Cinder by, I almost said Cassandra Clare, by Marissa Meyer, of course. I mean, I don't think this is her favorite book in the series. If I had to guess, I think it's Cress, the one she talks about the most. Lisa, confirm or deny. But this is her favorite series, and I know it's a comfort series for her, and I know everyone read this back in like, I don't know, when did this come out? 2014? 2012. Oh my god. That's a long time ago. But yes, all I know is that it's a retelling of like classic fairy tales. So this one's obviously Cinderella, but she's a cyborg, and I know other characters are in this series, like I think Rapunzel and what's her name? Red Riding Hood. And I think there's, what's the second book? Scarlet is Red Riding Hood. Hold on. Then Cress, I think, is Rapunzel, and then Winter. I don't know. Winter. Is Winter like the Snow Queen? I don't know, but it's time to find out. And again, this is another book that has been on many TBRs, and I just haven't read it. Maybe I'll read it in the winter, because this seems like a very cozy book to read. I don't know. I honestly really don't know much about the series, but everyone loves it, especially Lisa, so... Again, 2024 is the year I read Cinder, finally. The next book, say it with me now, I can't believe I haven't read this yet, but the reason for this book is because another one of this author's books is one of my favorite books of all time, and that is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I adore The Martian so much. I love that book, I love that movie, and I've heard a lot of people compare this to The Martian. I know Andy Weir wrote another book in between those that a lot of people didn't like as much, but then this came out and everyone was like, oh my god, he's back at it again. And everyone's been very secretive about the plot of this book. I think it is about an astronaut who, he wakes up, all of his like crewmates are dead, I think, and he has no memory of his mission. I don't know where he is. He's somewhere in space. If he fails humanity and Earth itself will perish. That's not good. His crewmates are dead. His memory's fuzzily returning. Yeah, he's in space and he's got to figure out what's going on. And I know everyone's like, there's another character in this book, but we're not going to tell you who it is. So I don't know what that means, but everyone talks about how great this book is. So once again, 2024 will be the year of Project Hail Mary and all these other books, honestly. Next we have Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. I really don't know much about this book, but everyone seems to love it. I feel like I've only seen 4 or 5-star reviews for this book. I think it's witchy. Let's see. At the dawn of their adolescence, on the eve of the summer solstice, 4 young girls, Helena, Leonie, Neve, and Elle, took the oath to join Her Majesty's Royal Coven, established by Queen Elizabeth I as a covert government department. Now, decades later, the witch community is still reeling from a civil war, and Helena is the reigning high priestess of the organization. Yet Helena is, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Helena is the only one of her friend group still enmeshed in the stale wow, that's a hard word, bureaucracy of HMRC. Elle is trying to pretend she's a normal housewife. Neve has become a country vet, using her powers to heal sick animals. Oh. And what Helena perceives as the deepest betrayal, Leonie has defected to start her own, more inclusive and intersectional coven, Diaspora. Oh. And now Helena has a bigger problem. A young warlock of extraordinary capabilities has been captured by authorities and seems to threaten the very existence of HMRC. With conflicting beliefs over the best course of action, the 4 friends must decide where their loyalties lie, with preserving tradition or doing what is right. So yeah, it's witchy and everyone just loves this book. I think the second book came out this past year, and I do have an arc of the second book that I got through my work. So if I love this, I can just go straight into the second one, but very excited about this one. Next, if I had made a list like this last year, I certainly would have put this on that list, and I thought like for sure I was gonna read this year. And I didn't, and that is We Spread by Ian Reid. I am entering my horror era, okay everyone? This year I started to dip my toes more into the horror genre. I hosted the Literally Dead book club with Kayla this year, where I read a horror book, and now I'm trying to read more horror, okay? It's happening in 2024, and this was on so many booktubers best of lists for 2022, And so I was like, for sure, I'm gonna read this in 2023. Did not happen. So it is going to happen this next year, mark my words. And all I remember is that I think it's about someone who's losing their memory. Do they have dementia? Oh, and Rumaan Alam, who wrote Leave the World Behind, which is probably my favorite horror book, honestly, but he blurbed this. And yeah, all I know is that this woman is getting older, her memory is kind of fading, but is it because of old age or something else happening? I don't know, but I've heard this book makes everyone cry, and I love books that make me cry, so can't wait to get to this one finally this year. Okay, now we're switching gears onto romance. So this is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I do have another book by Abby Jimenez, which I think is her first book, which is called The Friend Zone. Is that what it's called? I can see it, but I don't see the title. But I think that's what it's called. But I've heard much better things about this book, as well as Yours Truly, which is the companion to this book. I'm sorry, my ring light is... there we go, that's better. All I know, once again, this woman, I think she just got divorced, and so she's kind of going through a hard time, and then she meets this guy who is like 10 years younger than her, so it is an age gap romance, and he has a pet goat. Like, what more do I want to know? And I think there's a lot about mental health in this book, or is that more the second one? I don't remember. But everyone just loves this book so much, and I bought it when I met Lisa last summer, so I have nice memories attached to this book because I'm like transported back to the Barnes & Noble when I met Lisa. But anyways, this is a book, again, I've put on many TBRs. I brought with me when I went to New Jersey because I was like, I'm gonna read this in New Jersey, and then I didn't. So it's gonna happen next year, okay? Everyone needs to hold me accountable. Okay, this next book, it's one of the oldest books that is on my TBR in terms of how long I've had it for. I bought this book, I want to say in 2019. I think it was 2019, which is almost 5 years ago. I don't want to talk about it. And if you've been watching my channel since the very beginning, one of the very first videos I made was a 5-star predictions video, and I talked about 5 books that were 5-star predictions, and since that video I've only read 4 of those books. This is the last book that I meant to read in that video, and that is The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Penn. This book just sounds like my perfect book. First of all, this cover, it's beautiful. The book talks about grief. It's about this young girl. Her mother dies by suicide, and she is convinced that her mother has turned into a bird, and she travels to Taiwan to meet her grandparents, and there she is determined to find this bird that she believes is her mother. And then there's a lot of discussion about grief, and I think it's just gonna really resonate with me, and I think I'm gonna love it. Obviously, I thought it was gonna be a 5-star like so long ago. So I want to finally read this book in 2024. I think it's the perfect time. The stars are aligning. I just need to finally read this book. Okay? It's gonna happen, I promise. Next we have a classic, and that is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Again, this is a book, I feel like a lot of people say that this is their favorite classic, and I have this beautiful penguin cloth-bound edition. I think I only read one classic in 2023, which was Frankenstein, which, spoiler alert, I loved so much. One of my favorite books of the year. And I'm always so daunted by classics, but then I read a classic and I'm like, oh, I love this. So I think this is gonna be a big win for me. I know it's about this guy who's very like full of himself, and then he paints a picture of himself, but then the picture continues aging, but he doesn't. Something like that. I don't know, but I've heard great things. Obviously, it's a classic. And I'm excited to read this version, especially like I'll go out in public, you know, I'll just be that mysterious girl reading. This font is very small. It's gonna happen finally, once again. Thank you. Okay, I already have only 2 books left, but I don't know what else to say about these books other than I just need to read them in 2024. But this next book, it's a crime. Like, maybe more so than the rest of these books. This is the biggest crime that I haven't read this yet, and it is Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. And this makes me mad because I bought this very soon after it came out because I was like, I can't wait to read it. I'm gonna read it so soon after I get it. And so I got the hardcover, which I'd much rather read literary fiction in paperback, but I got the hardcover because I was like, I gotta read this book right away. Haven't read it yet. I could have waited for the paperback, but now I have to read it like this. This is my own doing. I have to face the consequences of my actions, but this is Sally Rooney's last book that she wrote. I don't know when she plans for her next book to come out. But this came out in 2020, was it 2021 or 2022? Let's find out. 2021, and I still haven't read it. Oh my god, I'm ashamed. I really don't know much about the plot, except the only other book I've read by Sally Rooney is Normal People, and there's not much of a plot in that book, so I would assume it's going to be similar in this book. I know it's about 4 friends, and I think they are romantically involved in some way, and then it gets complicated. And I just love the way Sally Rooney writes. Can't believe I haven't read this, but maybe I'll read this and reread Normal People this year. Much to think about, but if I don't read this book this year, like, I don't know what I'm doing. So it will be read in 2024, mark my words once again. And then the last book I have, I think also came out in 2021, but that is Ace of Spades by Farida Abike Iyamide. And this was the talk of the town when this book came out. Everyone was obsessed with this book. Once again, I don't think I saw anyone give this like less than 4 stars. Everyone loved this book. It was on so many people's favorite books of the year lists. Have I read it? No. No. I don't know why, but I know this is like kind of dark academia. It follows these 2 teenagers who are the only black kids in their school, and then it seems like they're being targeted, and I think is there any fantasy in this book, or is it only a mystery? Oh yeah, someone starts threatening them. Okay, yeah, I don't think there's any fantasy. I've just heard amazing things about this book, and I know this author's next book is coming out, I think this year, so would be great if I finally read her first book, but here it is, putting it on this list. Hold me accountable, because if I don't read it this year, again, what am I doing? So that is my list. Those are the 12 books that I need to read in 2024. Please hold me accountable. Let me know which of these books are your favorites so that I know which ones to prioritize, and then I will probably make a video at the beginning of next year to see how many of these I read. Hopefully it's all of them. In a perfect world, it's gonna be all of them, but we'll see, because my track record is not great, but we're gonna read them. Mark my words. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched till the end, leave, what should we leave? Okay, I'm gonna do this game again, except I'll let you guys choose the emojis, but whichever of these books are your favorites, leave an emoji relating to that book, and we'll see if I can guess what it is, okay? That's what we're gonna do. That's the game we're gonna play. So leave whatever emoji down below, but thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon with another video soon. Bye!